Some of the most financially struggling people you'll ever meet aren't reckless with money. They're careful, disciplined, even, and somehow they're still falling behind. What they are doing wrong is not obvious. That is exactly what makes it dangerous. 3 years ago, Daniela Torres, a 29-year-old marketing coordinator in Austin, Texas, was earning $54,000 a year. Not rich, but not struggling. At least that is what she thought. She tracked her spending. She cooked at home most nights. She canceled 3 subscriptions she was not using. And yet, every month, she ended up with less than $200 in her account. She could not understand it. Every financial decision she made felt responsible. And somehow, she was still falling behind. Daniela was not careless with money. She was careful in all the wrong directions. What Daniela was experiencing is not rare. It is one of the most common financial traps that almost nobody talks about honestly. Because the habits keeping most people poor do not look like failure.
Watching finance content can make you feel wealthier without making you any wealthier. And I believe this habit destroys more financial potential than almost anything else, precisely because it feels productive. There's a psychological concept researchers call completion via simulation. When you consume information about a goal, investing, saving, building a business, your brain partially registers it as progress. The satisfaction loop fires. The urgency disappears. For every hour spent consuming financial content without a corresponding action, the gap between knowledge and behavior widens. You know more. You do less. And knowing more without doing anything is not an asset. It's a defense mechanism. The person who opens a $50 investment account this week will outperform the person who watches 200 hours of investment tutorials and waits for the perfect moment. Every time. For the next 30 days, apply a strict rule. For every piece of financial content you consume, take one concrete action before consuming the next. Not a plan, an action. Information without action isn't knowledge. It's very expensive entertainment. There is an entire industry built around telling you to spend less. Cut this, cancel that, downgrade here. And that's not wrong. It's just wildly incomplete. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the bottom 40% of earners spend roughly 100% or more of their income, regardless of how carefully they budget. The math of restriction has a hard ceiling. You cannot cut your way to wealth if the gap between what you earn and what life costs is wide enough. Think of it like this. Optimizing your expenses while ignoring your income is like carefully rationing water on a boat with no oar. You might survive longer, but you're not getting anywhere. The people building real wealth aren't just spending less. They're relentlessly focused on what they can earn, create, or offer that the market will pay for. Budgeting is maintenance. Income growth is the engine. And most people are obsessing over the maintenance while the engine sits cold. Write down 3 specific ways you could increase your income by even $200 to $500 a month. Not someday, this month. A skill, a service, an asset. Then rank them by feasibility and start on the first one. You cannot save your way out of a low-income problem. Daniela had a rule she'd lived by since college. Never spend more than $30 on anything that wasn't an emergency. At 19, that rule kept her afloat. At 29, earning $54,000 a year, that same rule was quietly suffocating her. She turned down a professional certification course that cost $400, one that could have moved her into a $70,000 role. She bought the cheapest version of every tool she needed for work and replaced them constantly. She avoided conversations about investing because she had internalized deeply that investing was for people with real money. Scarcity mindset, when it starts as a survival mechanism, is intelligent. When it becomes an identity, it becomes a trap. Research in behavioral economics shows that chronic scarcity thinking narrows cognitive bandwidth. People in scarcity mindset consistently underinvest in high-return opportunities, not because they lack information, but because the mindset itself filters out possibilities. Daniela wasn't cheap because she had to be. She was cheap because she had forgotten she didn't have to be anymore. Identify one financial decision you've been avoiding because it costs too much, and calculate what it would actually return over 3 to 5 years if the investment worked. Then ask yourself, is the avoidance logical? Or is it a habit from a version of you that no longer exists? The budget that saved you at 22 might be the prison that holds you at 32. Nobody talks about the next one honestly, because it hides behind language we've been trained to celebrate. I'm investing in myself. I've worked hard for this. My mental health requires this. These statements can be true. They can also be financial camouflage. Nearly 61% of people who describe themselves as financially conscious are simultaneously increasing their discretionary spending year over year, while their savings rate remains flat or declines. Lifestyle inflation isn't the problem. Lifestyle inflation disguised as self-investment is the problem, because it bypasses your critical thinking. Every gym membership, upgraded apartment, and premium subscription carries an emotional justification that makes it feel not just acceptable, but virtuous. The actual question is not, do I deserve this? Everyone deserves comfort. The question is, what is this costing my future self? And has my future self agreed to pay it? If you've had a meaningful income increase in the last 2 years and your savings rate hasn't moved, you're likely experiencing this habit right now. Calculate your savings rate as a percentage of income, not a dollar amount. If it hasn't increased proportionally to your income over the past 2 years, identify the 3 largest new expenses that appeared after your last raise. Every upgrade you celebrate today is a vote your future self didn't cast. More research, more planning, more waiting until conditions are perfect. And I understand it. Uncertainty is genuinely uncomfortable. But the cost of waiting for certainty is almost always higher than the cost of the mistake you were trying to avoid. A person who begins investing $300 per month at age 25 with a conservative 7% annual return accumulates roughly $760,000 by age 65. The same person who waits until 35 to begin accumulates approximately $340,000. The cost of 10 years of waiting until I know more is over $400,000. Certainty is not a prerequisite for action. It is a reward for people who already acted and survived. Name one financial action you've been postponing while preparing. Set a deadline of 72 hours. Whatever the action is, open the account, make the call, sign up for the course, commit to doing an imperfect version of it this week. Waiting for the perfect moment is how ordinary moments become decades. Busyness has become a status symbol, and it might be the most expensive one we have. When you tell someone you're exhausted, overworked, and constantly behind, there's a social signal embedded in that statement. It says, I am important, I am needed, I am working hard. But financial outcomes are not a function of effort. They are a function of direction. Research from Harvard Business School found that people who report feeling always busy are significantly more likely to conflate activity with progress and less likely to engage in deliberate, high-value financial planning. Being busy is often socially accepted avoidance. It gives you a reason to never sit with the discomfort of asking, is what I'm doing actually moving me forward financially? The people building serious wealth are not always the hardest workers. They are almost always the most deliberate ones. Block 90 minutes this week, not to work, not to research, but to sit with one question. What single financial action, if done consistently for 12 months, would have the most impact on my financial position? Then do only that. Being busy and being productive are not the same thing. One feels better, the other pays better. Nobody talks about this last one, not because it isn't real, because it's too quiet to notice. Small recurring debts, the $800 credit card balance you carry month to month, the buy now pay later purchase you forgot about, the personal loan from 2 years ago you're still working through, don't just cost interest, they cost cognitive load. Research in behavioral economics demonstrates that unresolved financial obligations occupy persistent cognitive bandwidth. Small, unpaid debts don't just drain your wallet, They drain your decision-making capacity. When part of your mind is perpetually managing small financial obligations, your ability to think clearly about larger financial strategy is diminished, consistently, quietly, and completely invisibly. A $500 debt costing 24% annual interest costs $120 per year in direct fees. But the cognitive cost, the low-grade financial anxiety, the mental energy redirected from opportunity to management, is orders of magnitude larger and never appears on any balance sheet. List every recurring debt you carry, no matter how small. Rank them not by interest rate but by psychological weight. Which one occupies your mind the most? Eliminate that one first, not for the math, for the mental space. The smallest debts are often the heaviest ones. Daniela eventually figured it out. Not because she got a raise, not because the economy improved, not because she found a secret investment. She figured it out because she stopped performing financial responsibility and started practicing it. She deleted 4 finance podcasts from her phone and opened an investment account with $75. She identified that her scarcity mindset was costing her more than her spending was. She stopped calling exhaustion a virtue. None of that made her rich overnight. But here is the confrontation I want to leave you with. The economy is imperfect. Inflation is real. The system is not designed equally for everyone. All of that is true. And also true, at the exact same time, is this. The habits you repeat every day are writing your financial story, whether you're watching or not. Your income doesn't determine your future. Your habits do. Because habits are what you do when nobody's watching, including yourself. The deepest financial battle most people will ever face is not against debt, markets, or rising costs. It is against the invisible patterns that feel like personality but are actually just decisions, repeated so many times they forgot they were ever a choice. Daniela's story isn't finished, and neither is yours. The question is whether the habits you carry into tomorrow are the ones you actually chose, or simply the ones you inherited and never questioned. If something in this video made you uncomfortable, that discomfort is worth sitting with. Not performing discomfort, actually sitting with it. Comment below with this. What is one financial belief you were raised with that you now think might be wrong? I'll read every response. And if this video challenged the way you think about money, subscribe. Because the next video goes even deeper into the psychology behind why smart people make financially self-destructive decisions. One question before you go. Is the middle class disappearing because of the economy, or because of the habits the economy taught us to have?